everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show you, the world, and the audience, and all over the nation that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Just remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. We didn't have an episode yesterday morning. We had some issues going on. I woke up not feeling well, and I was really really sick. I guess you could say. I went to work, but it was one of the mornings where you get up early to go do the show, and you're like, man, I just need to stay in bed for a little while. I just need a rest. So I decided to stay in bed for the next couple of hours and just take a break. But I'm here now, and I will give you my recap for Super Tuesday, which was a big day for Donald Trump. He has gotten most of the delegates he needs to become the nominee for the Republican Party, while you have Nikki Haley only winning one state, the state of Vermont. And I've been hearing that this was an open primary, so a lot of Democrat crossovers went vote for Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley edged out a 4-point win in that. And you just have to ask the question. But, you know, going to work Wednesday morning, my phone started going off, and Nikki Haley suspended her campaign, which she should have done that, in my opinion, after the South Carolina loss. She kept on saying, I got to wait. I have to wait till after Super Tuesday. Now, I don't know if this was an agreement she had with her donors, or she thought she would have a shot. But look, states like Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, they just went full-blown Trump. And Trump won in a dramatic fashion. And polls showed this. Polls showed that Donald Trump was going to win in a landslide. And like I said, look, I was surprised he didn't get a full sweep. Nikki Haley got Vermont. It's not that big of a state, but she got Vermont. And it stopped Donald Trump from getting a clean sweep on Super Tuesday. Now, also, she did make history on Super Tuesday. She became the first Republican female to win a state primary. Now, this isn't her first win. If you remember, we talked about this the other day. She won the District of Columbia, or Washington, D.C. She won the nation's capital, which, if you go back and look at it, if she wouldn't have won that, I would have been surprised. I think it was Dan Bongino said that if Donald Trump would have won, we would have been concerned about Donald Trump. What Donald Trump's doing? But Donald Trump wins in a dramatic fashion. And now what happens now? Well, and this episode is going to be simple. It's time for the Republican Party to unify. And look, primary seasons are good. I'm not going to disagree with a primary season. I think we should have a primary where us as Republicans, and also you, if you're on the left and you're listening, you Democrats have a shot to pick a candidate you want. And look, a lot of people don't know about this, but the Democrat Party had their own primary. Well, a lot of their primaries yesterday. And today, Dean Phillips realized there's no way to win, so he went ahead and dropped out of the race. So there's there's a few other candidates in the Democrat side, but they're not viable candidates. They should all drop out. This is Biden's nomination. He's going to be reelected as the Democrat Party's nominee. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. That's going to happen. And it's the same thing on the Republican side. Donald Trump's going to be the Republican primary nominee. It's in writing now. And going back to what I'm talking about, I agree with a primary system. I think we need to come together as a party, no matter what party you part of, Republican or Democrat, come together and say, listen, let's pick the best candidate we feel. Now, Nikki Haley was making an argument, well, I'm holding 40% of the vote. You should listen to those 40% of the voters. I absolutely agree. I agree. Nikki Haley has a point. Those 40% of voters, that's not a small percentage of voters. The Trump needs to try to win their vote. He needs to try to get their vote. That's no ifs and buts about it. Donald Trump cannot win without them 40%. Okay, there's nothing. You can't argue. There's no way Donald Trump wins without that 40% of the Republican Party. But now the primary is done. Nikki Haley dropped out. She was the only Republican candidate that was viable to run to stay in the nomination. She's out. She's done. And look, she didn't endorse Trump. I think she's gonna have to endorse Trump if she wants to save her political career. I think that she's gonna have to do some damage control, because this primary, she said a lot of things about Donald Trump, and it wasn't liked by the right. Now going with that right there. I think, now it's time for unity. I feel that. I feel it's time for unity. I think it's time for the Republican Party to say, look, like him or hate him, you need to back Donald Trump, because there's no, who else you going to vote for? Okay. That's just, you're going to vote for Biden. Now, Biden has driven us to one of the worst economies in American history. The Dow at this point is falling more than ever before. The border crisis is sky high. You estimated 8 to 10 million illegal immigrants in this country that should not be in this country, but they are because of open border policies. We have a country that is divided, and you remember when Joe Biden got into office, his first thing was, "Hey, let's go ahead and we're going to unite America. I'm for the Republicans. I'm for the Democrats. I'm for the Independents. I'm for all of these people. Vote me in." And he was elected, and the country is more divided now than ever before. Look. If you want to see a country divided, look in the House of Representatives and look in the Senate. Senate is basically 50-50. It's 51-49 Democrats. You have the Republicans that control the House of Representatives, but only by 2 votes. How much more divided do you need to see or to be shown that this country is divided? We need a leader that's going to go ahead and really unify the country. Now, will Donald Trump be that leader? He's a controversial figure, so I don't know. I tell you one thing, though, he did make our country a lot better when he was president of the United States. And I want to ask everybody that's watching or listening to the sound of my voice, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And this is where I'm gonna ask the Republican Party, the people that are in the Republican Party, to unify for Donald Trump. It's time for us to say, look, who's our enemy? And look, I like how Trump said that at his rally the other day. Well, his not his rally, his party, his watch party. Donald Trump said it. Look, he didn't attack Nikki Haley. He said our focus is to Joe Biden now. Same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden should not have to worry about worrying about Nikki Haley. He needs to worry about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. That he's going to be forcing. He's going to be on the attack. I heard today that he got a nice war chest for Donald Trump, and he's planning to use every single penny to show the American people that Donald Trump is not fit to be the president of the United States. But there's an issue. We're not better off with Joe Biden. I can understand if Joe Biden, did some good things to where we grew as a nation, and we have, our wealth is up, our where we can say, look, we're better off than we were 4 years under Trump, but we can't. We cannot go ahead and say we're better off now than we were 4 years ago under the Trump administration. We just can't do it. But you have some Republicans that are still holding their nose and saying we're not going to vote for Donald Trump because he's a big, bad orange man. Well, I'm going to ask all the Republicans, and this is pick the lesser of 2 evils. If you think that Donald Trump is bad, don't vote for Donald Trump and vote for Biden. No, I don't like Biden either. So if you stay home, you're helping Biden get elected. No, because I'm not voting. I'm standing on my principles. What principles? You're going to stay home and you're going to let Joe Biden be a president for the next 4 years again and ruin our country more? Instead of voting for a man that is proven to close the borders and bring down inflation and all that good stuff. Everything that the Republican Party stands for. And this is something that we it's a time for unity. It's a time. Look, the primaries are done. I like a primary. I'm glad we had a primary. Look, I was a Ron DeSantis guy. I liked Ron DeSantis. I thought Ron DeSantis could have won, but he saw early on, hey, it's his time for me to get out, and he got out. He got out, and he's running Florida. I don't know what he's going to do if Trump gets elected. Because we have to say if. So I really don't know what's going on with that, but it's time for people like Nikki Haley. Look, Nikki Haley lost. And since Nikki Haley lost, she should endorse Donald Trump. Endorse Donald Trump and look, say it's time to unify the party. It's time to go ahead and join forces and let's beat Joe Biden. Let's stop the Democrat Party. And I think that's a unifying message. Listen, you might not like me, but what about the other guy? You don't like I don't think you like him more than you don't like me. It's time for the Republican Party to unite against the common goal, and that is to get a Republican in the presidency. Now, with that being said, though, too, on Tuesday night, look, North Carolina, the former lieutenant governor, the lieutenant governor that's running for governor, I can't think of his name right now, very strong conservative. We need to unite around him and get him elected as the governor of North Carolina. There was a lot of races in Alabama and in Texas that could shift the congressional map or the congressional party. Who's going to control who's going to go ahead and control the Senate? Who's going to control the Congress? Same day as Super Tuesday, Kristen Sinema says she's not going to run. Now that seat is going to be vacant, and Carrie Lake's running for that. Oh, I don't like Carrie Lake. I think she's a wacko. Well, so you would rather a Democrat take over that spot and stop everything that Donald Trump does if he gets elected? Our enemy is not another Republican. Our common goal is to beat the Democrats and push this country forward. And I think this is a time for Republicans to unite. I think it's time for the Republicans to get their act together. Because look, I know it was a government shutdown and everything. I might dive into that more in the next episode. But Mike Johnson funding the government for God knows how long to avoid a government shutdown, and conservatives are like, well, he didn't listen to us. He didn't answer no questions. There was issues with the bill that came up. And look, when I first saw that, look, Republicans in a prime position to take over and lead this country right, and Mike Johnson does this and ticks off I don't know how many Republicans. It's sad. It's sad that we have to bring it out, but what is the Republican Party doing? Stuff like that makes me wonder if the Republicans are not trying to lose this thing. Republicans need to get on the same page. We need to be united. And this bothers me when I see the Republican Party not unified. It's conservatives against the moderates. It's the conservative against the blue dog Democrat. It's the Republicans need to get united. It can't be, well, we're MAGA and we're not MAGA. The Republican Party needs to get united. And I think it's the perfect time now. Look, Nikki Haley's not in the race no more. And look, if you was a Nikki Haley supporter, God bless you. She ain't in there no more. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. Well, who are you going to vote for? And look, I'm not telling you to vote for somebody that just has an R behind their name. God forbid I say that. Because the other people on the left side, that's how they do. We don't like Joe Biden. We don't like his policy, but because he's a Democrat, I'm going to vote for him. And this is to all Americans. Look at the two candidates and see who they represent. Do they represent your values? Do they represent your beliefs? Because I've said this. I said this to a close friend the other day. When they asked me, why are you voting for Trump? And I said, look, I don't like Biden's values. Trump aligns more with my values. So I'm going to go ahead and vote for Trump. And the whole argument was, leave Biden out of it. Why are you voting for Trump? I told you, no, leave Biden out of it. I'm voting for, why are you voting for Trump? Because I don't agree with Biden's value. What? There's no other argument. If you're a true Republican, scratch that, conservative, and you don't like Donald Trump, and you say, I can't vote for Donald Trump. He's not presidential. His mean tweets scare me. Or you're gonna go vote for a guy that has nearly drove us into bankruptcy? Because you see, I heard this the other day. A lot of people say, well, Donald Trump raised $8 trillion in the debt. Okay, every president has done that since George W. Bush. And if you look at Biden's credit card for the national debt, it's getting pretty close. I remember I did an episode. I can't remember the name of that episode. It was the episode where I talked about the national debt. And I said, if Biden stayed in office, he was on track to spend more money than Donald Trump and Barack Obama. I'm just... Oh, we don't like how you raised the debt. We don't like... Well, Joe Biden's raising it the same way. And it's... You look, it's time for the... I guess I'm bringing this out because I hear a lot of moderate Republicans tell me this. We can never vote for Donald Trump. Okay, vote for Biden. Oh, I'm not voting for Biden. I'm a Republican. Well, you got a choice. You can stay home or hold your nose and vote for the man that's going to take the old fart out of the White House. Because look, I'm interested to see how he talks about his State of the Union. I could tell how the State of the Union is bad. I wish Biden was honest and goes and says, listen, you can go ahead and the state is bad. I wish Biden would be honest and just go to the State of the Union and say it's bad. But that's not going to happen. He's going to lie through his teeth, and he's going to give people what they want to hear, and you're going to have the left-string media going ahead and say, oh, look, it's so good. It's so well that he said that he's so right. And the media's going to back up everything he says. But it's time for, and going back to my original point, it's time for the Republican Party to unite and to back up Donald J. Trump. And Haley's gone. Like I said, I was a Ron DeSantis guy. Ron DeSantis is gone. You Vivek fans. Vivek's gone. They're not running. They're done. And look, to be honest with you, I don't care what the Democrats do. Because all the candidates that were running for president on the Democrat side, I don't like them. Even Robert Kennedy. People share Robert Kennedy's stuff, and they're supposed to be conservative, and I'm looking like, this man is not a conservative. So you're telling me you're not going to vote for Robert Kennedy? No, I'm not going to vote for Robert Kennedy. Okay, if push came to shove, guess what? He's Democrat. I have never considered a Democrat candidate. Now, if there was a Democrat candidate that was pro-life, pro-gun, and pro-constitution, hey, I would vote for them. But there's no Democrat like that. And if there is one, the established Democrats throw them under the bus. It's time. It's time for us Republicans to get our heads out of the sand and vote for Donald Trump. It's time to unite and back Donald Trump. And let's get him back into the White House. And if you don't like him, he only got 4 years. Then you can push Vivek. You can push. You can push. You can push Ron DeSantis. You can push Nikki Haley. Somebody else. We need 4 years. Donald Trump changed our nation in 4 years. And it's time for us to defeat Joe Biden. All right, with that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. If you can, please like and subscribe and share this podcast with your friends and your family. It's greatly appreciated. I want to give a shout out to my friends at Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is a great dermatology company in the great state of Tennessee. They all natural products in their hand lotions and their skin products. Not like other companies that have toxins and chemicals. In the description of this podcast, you can find their link and use the promo code BGSmedia10. That is Give-A-Derm.com. Use the promo code BGSmedia10. Also, HairClub. You know, hair loss is one of the biggest problems in America today, but you can go ahead and join HairClub. HairClub will get you with a consultant, and they will help you reverse your hair loss. HairClub.com. Use the promo code BGSmedia10 and you get discounts. All right, that'll wrap it up for me. Thank you, as always, for listening to the show. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.